players in the world. We have the best fans in the world. But right now, we have the worst leadership in the world.
You just witnessed two completely different moments. First, a bold challenge from a respected veteran. Then, a quiet but powerful approval from the league's biggest star. On the surface, it looks like the story the media loves to tell: a brave player, Nafisa Collier, making a daring statement, and Clark simply agreeing with her. But for those who study these things closely, you know that's not the truth. This wasn't a sudden outburst. It was the public result of a carefully prepared strategy. Clark's calm and measured tone wasn't hesitation. It was control. A perfect move in a high-stakes game for the WNBA's future, allowing a trusted ally to take the spotlight while she safeguarded the $16 million brand that fuels her influence. The headlines called it chaos. We're here to show it was precision. This is the kind of deep analysis that exposes what's really happening. So if you believe the truth behind the story matters more than the headlines, go ahead and hit that like button. It tells us you want to see what others won't reveal. Now, let's clear the noise. The official story says Nafisa Collier, frustrated after her exit interview, decided to speak out. She exposed a private conversation with Commissioner Kathy Angelbert, revealing that Angelbert said Clark should be grateful and that other players owe her thanks for the media deal. Then, according to this version, responded with a short, supportive line. It sounds simple and believable, but it's pure fiction. Athletes at Caitlin's level don't get caught by surprise. The face of a league doesn't speak without purpose. Every word is weighed and timed. Her answer wasn't reaction, it was strategy wrapped in respect. Listen again. I have great respect for Fee. I think she made some valid points. Those aren't emotional words. That's the careful tone of someone who knows exactly what she's doing. She didn't accuse or attack. She validated. And in doing so, she gave Collier's claims real weight while keeping herself untouched. She backed her peers without creating open conflict. It was a perfect example of control and influence, a subtle power play that changed everything without a single raised voice.
Needs to resign.
This is the dumbest league run by absolute morons. I've been saying it forever.
You don't act like that! You don't act like that!
That's the difference. People like Dave Portnoy and Stephen A. Smith can go all in because their brands thrive on controversy and emotion. But Clark operates on a completely different level. Her reputation is built on excellence, calm confidence, and being a role model for millions. Getting dragged into a public argument with the commissioner, no matter how justified, would damage that carefully built image. It's a risk her management team would never allow. And that's the heart of this whole situation, the motive. This wasn't about avoiding conflict. It was about winning in the smartest, most controlled way possible. And that motive comes down to one powerful factor: money. Not the league's money, but Clark's. Let's make this clear. Caitlin isn't just an athlete. She's a business empire. Verified reports show she earns around $16 million from endorsement deals off the court. She represents Nike, Gatorade, and State Farm, brands that value her image as much as her skill. Those partnerships rely on her being seen as composed, polished, and universally likable. That image is her greatest asset, and protecting it is non-negotiable. A messy public fight with the league's commissioner would endanger that image. It would spark negative press, drag her name into drama, and risk turning her into the type of headline sponsors avoid. One emotional response or sharp comment could undo years of careful brand shaping and cost millions. So, when you're the queen on the chessboard, too valuable to expose but you still need to neutralize a threat, what do? You don't make the move yourself. You send a trusted ally to make it for you. Enter Nafisa Collier. This is where the real brilliance shows. Collier wasn't just a random voice speaking out. She was the perfect messenger. Her credentials speak for themselves. Multi-time All-Star, Olympian, and one of the league's most respected veterans. But most importantly, she serves as the vice president of the WNBA Players Association. That role changes everything. It means when she speaks with the authority of the union itself, not just her personal opinion. This wasn't an emotional outburst, it was an organized statement. And if anyone doubted it, The Players Association confirmed it immediately. They didn't just back her. They issued a powerful, unified declaration that made one thing clear. This was no isolated comment. It was the start of a coordinated pushback from within.
WNBA also issued a statement. They said Nafisa Collier is an outstanding leader and officer of this union. When Fee speaks, people listen. We are confident that her words today speak to the feelings and experiences of many, if not most, of our members. The leaders of the league and its teams would benefit from listening to her.
Let that sink in for a moment. The Players Union officially stated that Collier's comments reflected the thoughts of many, if not most, of its members. That wasn't a defense of an outspoken player. It was a carefully coordinated message. It proved that Collier was the voice of a much larger sentiment across the league. She had the credibility, support, and protection to express what Caitlin Clark, as a marketable brand, could not. This was the heart of the strategy. Clark is the financial engine, the reason behind the record ratings and sold-out arenas that the league now depends on. Her influence lies in her brand, her reach, and her global recognition. Collier's power, on the other hand, comes from her leadership within the Players Union and her status as one of the league's most respected veterans. When those two forces align, Collier taking the public stand and Clark offering silent approval, it creates a checkmate. The commissioner suddenly found herself cornered, facing a united front from the players, subtly backed by the very star driving the league's success. The signs of coordination are impossible to ignore. But what do you think? Was this a masterfully planned collaboration between the WNBA's biggest star and its union leadership? Or was it just a coincidence that both challenged the commissioner at the same time? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Was it strategy or serendipity? And for those who still believe this was all spontaneous, let's rewind the clock. Caitlin Clark's calm, deliberate patience isn't new. It's a pattern. To see it clearly, we need to revisit an earlier controversy the league probably wishes everyone forgot: the Rookie of the Year situation. As detailed in various reports and fan discussions, when Paige Bueckers won the award, Commissioner Engelbert personally took the stage to present it, complete with cameras, applause, and the full spotlight. But when Caitlin Clark earned the same honor, all she got was what insiders described as a short, impersonal phone call. The moment felt cold, detached, almost dismissive. Fans noticed. Social media buzzed with outrage. Yet Caitlin said nothing. She stayed silent, letting the noise build without ever adding to it. She didn't fire off cryptic posts or emotional comments on social media. Instead, she took the perceived slight, stored it away, and kept playing. Many mistook that silence for weakness, but looking back, it was anything but. It was strategic discipline. She understood that complaining about an award presentation as a rookie would come across as petty, a fight that wasn't worth winning at that time. So, she waited. She waited for the right issue, the right ally, and a moment when the stakes would truly matter. And that brings us to the unspoken leverage at the heart of this entire situation, the part of the story the mainstream outlets completely overlooked. This controversy didn't erupt randomly. Its timing was deliberate, almost surgical. Based on our research, this entire wave of backlash surfaced right as the WNBA and the Players Association were preparing for high-stakes negotiations over a new collective bargaining agreement. The current deal is about to expire, meaning everything, player pay, revenue splits, travel standards, is on the line. So, ask yourself, was it really a coincidence that the players launched this attack on the commissioner now? Not likely. This wasn't about demanding an apology for a few careless remarks. It was about gaining leverage, creating a PR crisis for Cathy Engelbert and framing her as out of touch, anti-player, and disconnected from the locker room. The union walks into the negotiation room with momentum and moral authority, while the commissioner now faces the uphill battle of repairing her image and proving she's on the player's side. But even that's not the end of it. Nafisa Collier isn't just the vice president of the Players Association. She's also the co-founder of a brand new 3-on-3 league called Unrivaled. And that single detail changes everything. Collier isn't merely pressuring the WNBA from within. She's building a competing platform from the outside. That gives her, and by extension the players she represents, unmatched power. Her criticism of the WNBA's leadership isn't just protest anymore. It's a recruitment pitch for a player-first alternative. So let's step back and look at the full picture. This was never just about Caitlin Clark's emotions. It was about her future and the future direction of the entire league. The endgame behind this carefully executed plan was to completely shift the balance of power within the WNBA. By allowing Nafisa Collier, the respected union leader and founder of a rival league, to serve as the public face of the revolt, Caitlin Clark accomplished several goals at once. First, she shielded her multi-million-dollar image from any backlash. Second, she sent a clear message of unity to every player across the league, strengthening her influence as a true leader. And third, she helped create a deep crisis for the commissioner at the most pivotal moment in league history, right before contract negotiations that could reshape everything. The ultimate goal? A new commissioner who understands that the league's success depends on its stars, not in spite of them. A collective bargaining agreement that reflects the massive value players like Clark bring to the game. And a league culture that honors its talent instead of asking them to simply be grateful. Caitlin Clark's calm, two-word response, valid points, wasn't a throwaway line. It was the checkmate. The signal that the league's most powerful figure had quietly joined the rebellion and that the old system's time was up. When you strip away the noise, the truth becomes clear. Caitlin Clark's restraint wasn't weakness. It was strategy. A masterclass in how modern influence works. While her ally led the public fight, Clark positioned herself to win the silent war over power and profit. She didn't just win a news cycle. She rewrote the rules of control within the WNBA, all without raising her voice. So what's your take? Was this a brilliant act of brand protection and long-term vision, or a cold, calculated move against the league's leadership? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you believe the real story is never the official one, and you want to be part of a community that connects the dots, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. We're tracking every twist in the CBA showdown, and you won't want to miss what happens next. And finally, if you know a fan still caught up in the surface-level drama, share this video. Every true narrative analyst deserves to understand the real chess match for the soul of the WNBA.